And Jackson today at Wings, etc. And so we certainly invite you to come out, join us for lunch. If you haven't made plans, swing by. If you've never been to the Wings, etc. in Jackson, or even if you have, walk in the door, take a right. We're back in the banquet room. Nice turnout today as we'll be talking with Red Hawks head coach Tom Matukowicz and former Jackson star. Number 32 is here today. Who is that? Bryce Norman, of course, the Red Hawks leading tackler, and Geno Hess is here after his record-setting day on Saturday at Lindenwood. We want to remind you that in addition to their award-winning jumbo wings here at Wings, etc., they have a full menu featuring their brand-new burger menu. They have wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, smoked ribs, and much, much more. Over 70 items that do not include their wings. And their daily half-pound lunch specials start at just $9.49. It is the home of the coaches show. Wings, etc., good food and great times. Let's talk it over with the Red Hawks head coach, Tom Matukowicz. How are things, Coach?
Good. Absolutely. Got great weather, and it was a great trip up to St. Louis, and, just really excited about that game and what that can be and the rivalry. The first thing that stood out to me was just pulling in, man, there was just a tremendous tailgate. A lot of Red Hawk flags, a lot of red in the parking lots, and we had a great crowd, and just kind of nice that you got a team that's just an hour and a half or so away that you can play every year.
Well, the thing that impressed me when I pulled up, you could see there were at least 20 tents for that tailgate. They have a very big visiting section at Lindenwood, and it was full. It was completely full. I could not believe it. That is the largest road crowd that I've ever seen at a SEMO football game, and that includes some of these games over the years with SIU where it's just a 60-minute drive.
Right. Yeah, I agree, and there's a lot of former SEMO football player alums there. That was great to see, and on the way home, I just really felt that I got to do a better job. Since I've gotten here, I've really just kind of went to work on everything, and I don't think I've done a good job with former players that didn't play for me or whatever, but are alum and SEMO alum, and I'm going to do a better job. I'm going to try and have an alumni event in the spring and get these football former players back and involved in our program. And you want these alum to feel good about, hey, I played football at SEMO, and we're now responsible for carrying that flag as a program that when you hear SEMO football, you think good things. And so, we've gotten to a point in the program where I feel like we've got to make that a priority. And so that'll happen. I'll probably have something around our spring game and try to get some people maybe on a committee that can try to get all these guys back. But, it's such a special time in your life when you're in that locker room with those guys, and guys aren't great about relationships as it is, and so I think I need to do a better job, and I'm going to get after it this off season of trying to just really connect with our alum a lot more than I have.
Well, one of the alums that you connected with is Walter Smallwood, Coach, the all-time just really the career leader in not only rushing touchdowns but total touchdowns, and Geno Hess broke both of his records on Saturday. And before the game, up in the press box, I was asking Jeff Hansa, the strategic communications director, do you know if Walter Smallwood is still with us? I mean, is he still alive? Do we know, anything about Walter Smallwood? Because he graduated in 68 when he set his records, so that would make him at least 75 years old. And Hansa said, well, I really don't think I've ever met Walter Smallwood. And when Rick Weezer got up to the press box, he said, Walter's at the tailgate. I was talking to him. And then after the game, Geno Smith rushes for 276 yards, 4 touchdowns. So he breaks Walter Smallwood's 54-year-old total touchdown record of 35 or 36. And then his rushing, all of his touchdowns were rushing when he was here. And I'll be darned if he wasn't down on the field with you and handing a game ball to Geno Hess. How in the world did this come about? 75 years old, and Walter Smallwood is at the game where Geno breaks his record.
God's timing, man, because it couldn't have been any better. And so it just made it that much more out of an event in 54 years.
A long time.
I mean, that is a really long time. He's such a special player here. And I had gotten a chance to meet him several times. And he is just as humble of a man as you can imagine, and all the records that he had, and when he got the SEMO, he was kind of a first in a lot of things, and just really impressive man. But to be there and to give the game ball to Geno, the record-breaking touchdown was great, and Geno gave a speech, and I appreciate you calling him Geno Smith all the time, because that helps me humble his ass instead of call him that instead of All-American Geno for me today. All right, so the announcer can't even remember your name, Geno. All right, that's how much you've done in our program.
You've only been playing here for 4 years,
But yeah, what a day. But like he said, and he told the team that was really that's a team award, right? And that also speaks to where our program had gotten to, that we had gotten that much success over a 4-year period where you could break that type of record, right? So everybody that's been on offense or in our program the last 4 years has a little piece of that, because you don't have that kind of award if your team stinks, and so it's just I agree. I think we should hit the pause button and celebrate that accomplishment.
So Walter Smallwood was inducted into the SEMO Athletics Hall of Fame in 2003. He played from 65 to 68, and he had the career touchdowns and rushing touchdowns record. He is still second in career rushing yards, 3,066, third all-time in all-purpose yards, 3,577. And I was told today that in 1994, when Kelvin Earthquake Anderson broke Walter Smallwood's rushing record, the all-time rushing record, he was at that game and gave a game ball to Earthquake Anderson. So,
oh, really?
Walter Smallwood has been there for a couple of big milestones.
No, he's such a great Red Hawk, man. He loves the program, loves the university. And so, it's great that we get to talk about him again.
And Earthquake Anderson, I was told someone thinks that he might still be in the area. He went to New Madrid County Central High School. Has Earthquake, have you ever met him? Has he ever reached out to you?
I met him once, yep. And I don't know where he's currently at. But, again, kind of our point earlier is I want to make sure these guys feel welcome too. Right, I just haven't done a great job with that, and so we'll try to get him and a bunch of others back in the fold and make sure they're always welcome in our program.
That'd be really cool if somebody reached out to him. I mean, right now Geno is 431 yards away from breaking Earthquake's record, and that record has stood since 1994. So that record's been around for a while.
Yeah, for sure. No, these are great times.
So you play Lindenwood for the very first time. What has it been decided? We know that there's going to be a trophy involved. The game ball brawl. Is it the game? Is it the actual ball from that first game? How is this going to work now with the trophy?
I would play for a Hershey's Kiss. So I don't even care as long as it's something. And the administration is kind of figuring that all out. But basically, the first snap, the original ball, will be done up, painted and all that, and then put inside a case that's a trophy, and will be then traveling every year. I
would think it'd probably be something that could be done where you could etch the scores of every game of every year, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll do a great job of it, and that's why, really, that's the end of the season. To talk about the Brickyard victory at SIU, all those type of things are really the end of the year talking points and the legacy of 2022. I think I just need to remind the team that really we really only have about a couple months left together. And this team dies and a new team will be born. And so make sure we appreciate each other and everybody that's in the locker room, and just understand that we're closer to the end of this than we are the beginning. And to, recommit, refocus, re-energize yourself towards the mission. We've got a great opportunity to, seal a legacy that is pretty special for this team if we can just finish the mission.
Jeff Hansa informs us that the new Top 25 Stats Perform media poll is out. You have moved from number 24 up to number 21, and for the first time this year, you are ranked in the coaches poll at number 25. So both major polls are paying attention to what the Red Hawks are doing on the field.
Yeah, for sure, and nationally, that's what people are talking about, and that's why sometimes, though, it's hard to turn the page. You got all these sugar-coated lies about how good we are, and you start thinking about how good you are, and then that's how you get beat. And so we just got to make sure we remain humble and hungry. And I'm pretty good at that. You're not. You're terrible at it. But I'm pretty good at it.
I'm admittedly terrible at it.
Right. Yeah. And I'm pretty good at the other piece, so maybe we can balance each other out.
So right now, you have overtaken UT Martin as the number one scoring offense in the OVC. If you take out your money game against Iowa State, you are now averaging, in your 4 victories against FCS opponents, 40 points per football game. You scored 49 on Saturday. That offense is humming right along.
Yep.
And early in the season, Gino's numbers haven't been, triple-digit rushing games until the last 2, and all of a sudden he's going.
Yeah, for sure, and we want balance, and I think Gino's number 6 in rushing in the country, but Paxton's number 6 in passing. I mean, that is the balance that we want, and we were a little behind in the run game just because we didn't even try early on in the season, but now we kind of got that going. I still feel like, I tell them all the time, I've seen the enemy, and it is us. Like if the offense has a bad day, it's because of the offense. It's not because of the defense. We have plenty of talent, to put a lot of yards and points up there, but we got to make sure we take care of the football. We can't get negative yardage plays that stop drives, no stupid penalties. We flirted around a little bit with that. Central Arc, we didn't do a great job with the ball. Nichols, we had some holding penalties, so there's been some stuff that stalled some drives out. And then even in the red zone of Lindenwood, like that game could have been 3 to 4 scores and out of reach early. But most of the game, it was a 2-score game. And it was because, we weren't able to finish some of those drives. I think we had 4 field goals or something like that. We got to try to finish those off.
So your first possession of the day, you have a 9-play, 72-yard drive. You've got it at first and goal, I think maybe the 7-yard line. Lindenwood keeps you out of the end zone. You kick a field goal. Your next time with the football, you get the ball inside the red zone and then have to settle for a field goal as well. I'm sure you were, we'd like to have gotten off to a better start. You still led 6-0, but I know when you're in the red zone, you want touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole key as touchdowns, and I was happy because I want to get our field goal going, and DC needs reps and he needs kicks in games and stuff like that, but I knew that this was just going to stay closer because of that, though, and that's what you don't want. And, I thought their quarterback was outstanding. I think he's a Division I quarterback that made a lot of plays for them, and defensively we could have played better. So that combination kind of kept the game a little closer. But I thought Lindenwood did a nice job, man. They played hard. They're well coached. It's going to be a fun rivalry. We got a 30-year head start on them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they went Division I 6 months ago, and we've been Division I for 31 years. But it's not going to take them long to catch up. I mean, their facilities are 1,000 times better than SEMO's. I mean, that's the bottom line. And so we got to continue to do the things that gives us a chance to be competitive in recruiting and put on a first-class game day experience for fans and alums. So we got to double down and finish this project, this Hawk project out.
Boy, just from watching Cade Brister, now we knew he was their all-time career passing leader. He's over 4,000 passing yards now, 74 career passing touchdowns going in. I bet one thing on film that you did not really see was his rushing ability. He had rushed for 60 yards all season in their first 3 games. He ran for 80 on Saturday. I mean, he's a big guy, 225 pounds. He moves better than when you just look at him. He moves a lot better than you think.
Yeah, he's like a running back. He looks like Geno. He's thick. He's quick. He can make you miss. He's taller than Geno, but I mean, obviously most people are. Yeah, he did a nice job with his, just decision making. But he did turn over, twice in the red zone, which ultimately got us to where we got the distance that we needed.
So you go up 6-0 in the game, and then you get Geno involved. He rushes for a touchdown. Then Paxton DeLaurent throws a touchdown. You get a 2-point conversion, and then all of a sudden it's 21-0,
yeah.
And you have to be thinking, all right, this is how we wanted the game to start.
Yeah, absolutely. And love our mindset. Like I could tell our team wanted to play. They wanted to win. They had great energy on the sideline. They were playing really physical. So all the things that we had talked about. And I'll tell you the other thing, man, a big turning point was thank God for instant replay. Because, before that they called a fumble on Geno, and it got reversed, which it wasn't a fumble, but they called it one in a game. So if it wasn't for instant replay, we'd have been in trouble on that. And that's just a huge momentum thing. You just never know what can happen.
Sure.
That could truly change a game. So that was another point that – and
now, did you ask for a challenge on that, or do they automatically?
They review all change of possession. So I challenged one of the touchdowns late, but no, they had already went to replay.
And for those who didn't see it, Geno was tackled, but he landed on top of a player, so his knee or his elbow never actually went down, but his forward momentum had stopped. The play clearly was over, and a guy came in and swatted the ball away from Geno, who I'm sure thought the play was over, and
right.
They immediately called it a fumble. And to their credit, they've got a huge video board, and they replayed it a couple of times, and you could tell that play was over. This is probably going to be overturned.
Yeah. One of the things we talk about our program, though, is we finish a play by handing the ball to the official, don't we, Geno? That's what we do? Okay, I just want to make sure, because you don't want to leave it in the hands of that, right? You finish the play, you get up, and you hand the ball to the official. So you never relax with the ball ever, whether the whistle's blown or not. It's just you never want to put that thing in jeopardy. It's just too critical to mission accomplishment,
So they make a run at you. It's 21-14 with about 4 minutes left in the third, and what was 21-0 suddenly is 21-14, and then, hey, we've got a football game here.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Lindenwood fans are into it. The Lions are believing, hey, we're going to make this comeback. And then what I thought was the key drive of the game, 6 plays, 74 yards. Geno finished it off with a 14-yard touchdown run. When they challenged you and took away your 21-point lead, man, how are you going to respond? That was a huge response.
Yeah, I agree. And, I think the pick and then the score right after that sealed it. Those are the two big plays of the game. The pick in the end zone was huge, but that was a great job responding because all the momentum was on their sideline. But our sideline was never funky or anything. We were just, kept getting after it.
We talk so often about how a team can feed off of the crowd. Well, you don't really do that much on the road. This was totally different. I know I was talking to a couple of Red Hawk fans before the show. They think there were at least 1,500 Red Hawk fans there. The entire visiting section was full. Was your team feeding off of that crowd? Because that's the biggest crowd I've ever seen at a SEMO road game.
No, I agree. I think they did, and I think they had a lot of family also there. That helps, and that's why I think they were ready to play the game.
So then they drive, they get in the red zone, and it's looking like, here they come. Are they going to, is the Red Hawk defense going to be able to hold them to a field goal attempt here? And then Bryce Norman steps up, gets his first career interception, and the very next play, Geno Hess goes 84 yards, the longest run of his career. He had a 66-yarder, but this is an 84-yarder. But what's interesting about this 84-yard run, it wasn't he broke through and then it was a foot race and he had to just turn and change directions during an 84-yard run. You don't see that very often with a run of that length, to change directions as many times as he did in that run.
Yeah, he did a great job to finish it off, and that really was what kind of broke Lyndon Wood's back, but that was a hell of a run, and I'm glad Bryce got an interception, because I was realizing why Eckley doesn't play him on offense. I was worried about his ball skills. He has had a couple that maybe he could have got up to this point, but now he's kind of got that monkey off his back and had a nice little return also.
Also, I bet he was probably frustrated that they kept fair catching kicks, because he gets a lot of tackles on special teams, man. He has a nose for getting the kick returner.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It's production, man. He is just always around the ball, sacks or tackles or tips, picks. That's what a good linebacker should do.
And I don't know if I'm sure he doesn't have any extra responsibility, but for those who don't know, I mean, you've got 3 linebackers out. I mean, right now the linebacking core is definitely depleted, and you go back and you look at some of these defenses that you've had over the years, and the linebacking core has always been elite, and right now you're struggling to find bodies.
No doubt, and we run a 3-4, and so we're kind of ran by the backers. And so we got 3 of those guys out, and it's made it pretty tough. And but at the end of the day, I'm sure other teams have their injuries too, and hopefully we get 1 or 2 of those back in a couple weeks.
So Paxton DeLawrence, another 300-yard passing day, 19 of 33, 312 yards, a touchdown pass to Johnny King, who's having an All-American type season. I know he's not an All-American, but he's trending in that direction, but that is the first time a SEMO player has ever won 4 OVC Newcomer of the Week awards. What Paxton did, he was named yesterday, and it's never happened in the history of SEMO that they have dominated that award like Paxton DeLawrence has. He's got 4 awards. We've had 4 weeks of the season, basically.
Yeah, right. No, he's a special guy, and had great decisions with the football, never really threw it into double coverage and stuff like that. There's a couple RPOs, run pass options that I wish he'd have handed off. But other than that, it was a really, really solid day by him.
Do you see things starting to slow down for him the more football he plays?
Yeah, I mean, he came in with the game pretty slow. I mean, he just has such a great processor that, really since day one, he was able to process the game at an elite level. I think he was just picking up the offense and all the little things, but it's certainly great to watch.
How about Johnny King? He's got all the receiving numbers right now, number 1 in the Ohio Valley Conference. Boy, it looks like he's almost unstoppable on those slant patterns. He just has a knack on the sidelines, and then if you want to throw a ball up and go try to have a jump ball, he's probably going to win more often than he's not.
Yeah, I think he was a possession receiver last year. Early this year, he got to where he was a deep ball, like he is going to go dominate the jump ball. And then this game, though, we've challenged him to try to do more after catch, because he is 200 and some pounds. He's tall and thin, but he's still big. And so he broke some arm tackles kind of really for the first time. That was great to see, because you throw it out there 5 and he runs for 15, man, that's what you want. And so he needs to continue to build that skill set.
And you were without Ryan Flournoy, who is just a magnificent compliment on the opposite side to Johnny King. What's the status on Ryan Flournoy? I know you missed him on Saturday.
Yeah, he's been banged up, and I think he's going to practice this week, and it'll kind of be towards the end of the season or end of the week determining, but I would expect him to play. He's a competitor, and I know he wants to help this football team.
So you gave up over 500 yards in the football game, but 28 points, and I know coaches would much rather lead the league in scoring defense than lead the league in total defense.
Right. No, ultimately, it's about points, and but we we didn't make them kick field goals. They finished out some of their drives. We did get a couple takeaways in the red zone, which helped. But it's that depth, that outside linebacker that we're kind of in the drawing board a little bit, because we're probably 2 or 3 more games like that, and what are we going to do? And so we got to find a way to play good defense, and if we're in a shootout, we can lose it. So we can't just count on our offense scoring 50 points. We got to be able to play good defense on top of it, and we have. It's just a combination of several things. But, and I'll say it again, like, I have a lot of respect for Lindenwood. I think their offense is an FCS offense. Defensively they struggle with tackling and some of that in the run game, but offensively their tackles were nice players, their receivers, and the quarterback was, I think a top 2 or 3 guy in the league.
I totally agree. I mean, he'll probably challenge Paxton for all-conference quarterback in the OVC. That's how impressed I was with him. And, the fact that your defense did hold them to a field goal attempt in the second half. They called it a roughing the kicker penalty, and they scored on the very next play. I know the penalties were low in the game, and I thought at the time that's the one penalty that he's not going to like.
Yeah, that was we call it a stupid penalty, and that was as stupid as you get. So we just got to coach, and again, I think the biggest threat to SEMO right now is still SEMO. It doesn't take many of those to lose a game. And so we just have to understand that we're not invincible. We have to play smart, and we're good enough, but we're not that good to make dumb things like that and expect to, accomplish a mission.
They've got a really good kicker, Siebert, and he had already hit 4 of 5 field. No, he hadn't missed a field. He was 4 for 4 beyond 40 yards. He's a really good kicker. And so you're probably expecting they're going to try to kick away from Dalen McDonald. That doesn't mean that a guy is good enough to be able to do it if he's kicking it deep. And they did a good job. Yeah. They specifically kicked away from McDonald. And I think you even flip-flop he and Robbins one time, and they still kicked away from him.
Yeah, they did a nice job, and, we got to be prepared for that. Of course, Dalen had a great kickoff return, and so that might be people's plans. And still, we can't, just let them do that. We still need to try to execute and make a play on kickoff return, even if they try to keep it out of Dalen's hands.
Trey Hodges had a big day for you, Coach. 9 tackles. He was your leading tackler. How about the way Trey Hodges is playing?
Coming back from that ankle, so it's great to have him back. And he's still trying to get his conditioning down because he missed so much. But, he's certainly one of our smarter and veteran players. So to have him back just, is great. And I think this game coming up will be his breakout game.
And you end up with it says 3 sacks in the football game. I think you're second in the league in sacking the quarterback. You are able to get some pressure on the opposing passer.
Yeah, that was a problem last year, especially with a mobile quarterback. And so Coach Kuhn and his staff has really done a nice job of being able to create some of those. And Bryce had a nice, I don't know if he got 2 sacks maybe, but had a nice day there also.
And with Coach Ricky Kuhn, it's an interesting story because he was on your staff, left, and you were in need of a defensive coordinator because Tom Matukowicz wasn't cutting it at defensive coordinator. Right. So he's back. Explain how all that took place.
Well, it was that crazy year because of COVID, and we had the 2 seasons in 1 calendar year, and my coordinator, Coach Sy, left in June or whatever it was, and just didn't feel like I just felt like I needed to just try to hold the ship together. I wasn't going to bring a guy in June and change everything, so I was just going to try to hold everything together, got through the season, and then it just worked out. He was ready for a change. He had tried the head coach thing, and wanted to be a D coordinator, and so it was just a great fit, and awesome to bring that kind of man and his character and all that. Good football coach back here, and now I just feel much more confident, and I could just be a head coach and try to do a good job at what a head coach does.
So what was the message to your team after you knock off Lindenwood? And I think it's 4 straight years now. You're 7-2 in conference openers, and for 4 straight years you've won your conference opener. Man, getting off to a good start in conference play, I mean, it makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the mission. So we're 1-0 in the conference. I love how we got a bye week coming up. So we have been going at it for a while, and guys are tired and wore out a little bit, but you could see a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, look, you got another 6-day grind here, and then not only will you not play, but you got fall break, so they're out of school Thursday and Friday also. So they're going to get a true break, get away, get to maybe go back home, see family, all those type of things, which is really important because I think we do need to breathe. I think we need to get away from it a little bit.
And that is, for those who don't know, that is after the game on Saturday. Then your bye week is the following week before you go to Northwestern State.
Exactly. So schedule-wise, I think it lines up, and it's just can we keep going? Are we still hungry? Are you going to be excited to play at Houck? And the streak and how we play at home, needs to show up again, and the kind of energy that we play at home.
And I really like to see, I've seen on social media a lot from some of your players, they are echoing what you say. We don't lose at Houck. I know you have been drilling that into your team's head.
Right. Need to play well at Houck. And evidently Gino is really good at social media and sending things out that I just saw the other day. So we'll have a talk about that later also. But they are a bought-in team. And Coach Blackman said this the other day that I didn't really think of it because I'm kind of in the weeds a little bit. But he's like, Coach, this is the first team that is really this is like you. Like your personality is in this team. And so I thought that was unique. Or not unique, just an interesting point that he brought up, and that's why I think I like him so much. And I have faults, we have faults, of course, but I appreciate who we are, how we go about our business.
So we're going to talk with Bryce Norman here after the break. Tell us what you've seen in the evolution of Bryce Norman from a guy who you couldn't physically go watch play, recruit him here to SEMO. He bursts onto the scene as a freshman All-American and the leading tackler on your team, preseason All-Conference, and here he is again. He went into Saturday's game, the 6th leading tackler in the Ohio Valley Conference. Just scored his first touchdown last time you were at Houck, and he just got his first interception on Saturday.
Playing well, man. He's just, I think maybe Billings said he's kind of a machine. You kind of just take for granted, but everything he does, he's got one standard, and he shows up and makes plays, and he's just as consistent as a player as on our football team, and he's also a good teammate. He's around a lot of different guys, not just defensive guys, not just linebackers, but other positions. He hangs out with those guys, and got to continue to get him bigger and stronger and those type of things, and then work on his verbal skills. I don't know what you guys are going to talk about.
All right.
Because he's pretty rough on the old talking. So I don't know, maybe talk about deer hunting or something and get him going.
All right. We'll see if he's bagged a deer lately. Bryce Norman, former Jackson star, is going to join us. We're in Jackson at Wings Etc. Bryce Norman joins us after this timeout. It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN.
Bar, Wings Etc. in Cape and Jackson.
in Jackson, and we invite you to join us. Now, we will be back in the Cape location. I know we had that messed up last week, but we had the show in Dexter, so that was one of our weeks that we normally would be in Cape, but we will be at the Cape location next week. And, of course, now with DoorDash, did you know that you can get wings, etc., and their delicious menu delivered wherever you are? And it's very easy. If you've got a smartphone, just download the free DoorDash app. You just take a couple of minutes to set up an account, and you can have wings on the way delivered right where you are, or you can join us. They're open 7 days a week, and they've always got the best sporting events on all of their high-definition televisions, and you can watch all of the sports right here at Wings, etc. Cardinals are in action tonight, Monday Night Football, and this is the headquarters, Wings, etc. Bryce Norman, our guest, Red Hawk linebacker. Now, you're from Jackson. Where do you live? As a freshman, did you have to live in the dorms? What are the rules on that? Are you at home? You got your own place? How does it work?
As a freshman, I still lived with my parents the whole first and second semester, but this year I moved off campus, so it's nice living on my own now.
All right, you got roommates?
I do. Still some of my Jackson buddies right now. All
right. Have you gone to a Jackson football game?
I went to the home opener against Edwardsville. I actually left at halftime. They're up 20-0, so I left and saw that they didn't have a good finishing in the second half.
So you're responsible for the 20-0 lead evaporating.
So. I guess you can put that on me, but yeah, they came out hot and it's 20-0. We had a game. We didn't have a game the next week, but it's Friday night, so I left at halftime. I thought they had it in the bag, and then I guess you can blame that on me for leaving.
Edwardsville is a team. See, in Illinois, it's a little bit different to make the playoffs. You have to earn your way into the playoffs in Illinois. Everybody doesn't, get a chance to play postseason football. They've been to the playoffs 10 years in a row, state ranked. I mean, they're a really good program. Nasim Caro could probably tell you how good Edwardsville is. So they're a good team. Francis Howell beat Jackson the next week. They may be the best Class 5 team in the state. They may win the state championship. So Jackson played two really good opponents, and now they've reeled off 4 in a row.
Yeah, Jacob Morsey can probably tell you a little more about Edwardsville, too. He kind of let me hear a little bit about it when the Edwardsville beat Jackson because we both play inside linebacker together, and we're pretty close, but
yeah, so he was talking some smack.
Yeah, he was talking some smack, but yeah, Jackson won 4 in a row, like he said. I think they won the SEMO conference already, so they got back on track, and hopefully they can make a good run this year in the playoffs.
That's 5 years in a row. And for those who don't know, when you came to SEMO, you got in the weight room and you get involved in Division I, weight, I don't know, just conditioning, which includes a heavy dose of the weight room. But for anybody that knows how Brent Eckley runs his program in Jackson, you had been in the weight room relentlessly for multiple years. I know all 4 years of your high school career. Tell us about early morning weight training for the Jackson football program.
Yeah, they'll be up there 4 days. Or when I was there, we were up there 4 days a week. In the summer, starting in spring, we'd start right when school started the second semester. We'd all work out 4 days a week, and that would go all the way till the end of the season pretty much. We'd have Friday morning practice workouts before our game at 5:45. Just stuff like that. We've been in the weight room. I've been in the weight room since freshman year pretty hard, I guess, of high school.
Do you think that helped you? Maybe it wasn't as big a shock when you got to the weight training program at Division I because you had so much weight training in high school?
Yeah, when I came in, I thought I was in good shape. The weight room really didn't affect me. I felt like I kept up with everyone else. Thanks. I would be a little bit stronger since I've been in the weight room since freshman year. But, yeah, getting to college, it wasn't a big shock to me.
And with Coach Knapp, talk about how good of a motivator that guy is.
He's awesome. He's done a great job with me. I'm, getting thrown in the fire last year as a freshman. He did a good job just handling my body last year, acclimating to D1 football, like he said, and he's just an awesome guy, and we have a great relationship.
Talk about taking care of your body, because after every Jackson game, I'm down on the field with my wireless mic and I'm talking to Coach Eckley, and he's always talking to his team, and that's one of the last things he says before he lets you guys head back to the locker room is take care of your body. And I'm sure that is a message that Coach Knapp is pounding into everybody.
Yeah, even in football, you can take a pretty good beating every Saturday, and that's one of the most important things, like you just said, just taking care of your body, staying hydrated, getting ready for the next week, getting ready to have a good week of practice. You have to feel good at practice, and it's taking care of your body is really important.
So before the game at SIU, you played at Iowa State. You were flagged for targeting. I have seen the replay. I mean, you hit the guy in the arm. You hit him in the freaking bicep. But I guess letter of the law, if it's crown of the helmet, then, they looked at the replay. So you had to miss the first half of the SIU game. What was that like? Have you ever stood on a sideline during a football game for an entire half of football when you weren't injured?
No, I don't think so. But it was a good experience for me just to be on the sideline, have my helmet off, helping the other guys out, watching from the sidelines, getting to learn kind of what the coaches go through, because Coach Bonato said, kind of be a coach this half and help out the guys. And it was a good experience for me, and also a good learning moment for, call it what you want. I wasn't happy about the call either at the time, but I have to do a better job of keeping my head up.
How many times have you looked at the replay?
A lot. Especially when it happened, Coach Duke always says emotions are high and clarity's low, and I was not happy with it at the time. But like I said, I just have to do a better job of keeping my head up. And even this week in Lindenwood, I missed quite a few tackles from lowering my head, and I still have to get better at that.
So I know in the past, if somebody was ejected for targeting, they had to leave the sideline and go into the locker room. They have changed that rule, so you were able actually to stay on the sideline in Ames, Iowa.
Yeah, the second half didn't go how we wanted to with Iowa State, but like I said, just like SEU, it was a good learning experience for me to be on the sideline, and kind of act like a coach in that stance.
So Geno Hess runs for 276 yards. I don't know how much, when you are on the sideline, I'm sure you're getting coached, by the defensive coaches. You're talking about different things. How much did you get to watch Geno? And, how about a performance like that?
Yeah, it's awesome. Geno, he's just a great teammate. He knows everybody, talks to everybody on the team, and he likes to joke around sometimes, but when it comes to Saturday, he gets focused. And especially after the pick I had against Lindenwood, seeing him take it for 84 yards, I think.
84.
Yeah, that was just awesome to see. And I know he was close to breaking the touchdown record and close to breaking the rushing record, but he never brought it up during the week. And that's just the kind of teammate he is. He likes to have fun, and then I didn't really know about the record and until after the game, and then bringing the O-line up there and thanking them. That's just a humble moment for a great guy like Geno.
Well, let's talk about your interception. Take us through that particular play. Did you read the quarterback's eyes? Did you jump the route? Tell us about that play.
Yeah, I just read the quarterback's eyes. Like Coach Duke said, I've had plenty of opportunities to make an interception. I've dropped a few in practice and in the game, so it was kind of nice to get redemption. Yeah, it just felt good to have an interception under my belt.
And the week before that, your first touchdown. How about that one?
Yeah, I don't think a touchdown can get any easier, to be honest. Got at the 3-yard line, just dove in the end zone.
And it was big in the football game as well. How about the mood of this team? I know you guys are thinking OVC champion. I know you're thinking one game at a time, but I know the mission is to win the OVC.
Yeah, it's awesome. We had a good non-conference play, and then going 1-0 in conference play right now. I'm have Tennessee Tech, which on offense I know they'll give us a lot of different looks. But, yeah, the mission is the OVC championship. But right now the mission is just to go 1-0 this week.
How cool was it to see 1,500-plus fans on a road trip?
It was awesome just pulling in on the buses, seeing all the tents out there tailgating them. Just seeing the fans during the game, it was this awesome experience.
All right, it'll be Tennessee Tech this weekend. Do you know much about Tech yet? I know you guys will be prepping all week for them.
I know we went there last year, and I think we were up 10-0 at half, and they kind of left a bad taste in our mouth in the second half, especially for the defense. So I think we're going to come out with some fire this year, and like I said, they'll give us a lot of different looks on offense, and they're coached well.
Your dad was an all-conference lineman at SEMO. How many of the old line stories have you heard over the years?
I've heard quite a few. Some I better not tell here, I guess, but – yeah, he's told me quite a few, and it's just awesome having my dad go through the D1 football experience too.
So Coach Took said, let's talk about deer hunting, but you're actually an avid duck hunter. Tell us about it.
Yeah, outside of football, that's my favorite hobby. It's nice living, being close to home too, knowing all the good duck hunting spots and stuff, but yeah, after football season, that's what I'll be doing, duck hunting.
So a lot of people may not know you were on the golf team at Jackson. How often do you get out and swing the clubs, and who's the best golfer on the roster?
Well, I'm the best golfer on the roster. There's quite a few people that Kobe Six Killer's a pretty good golfer, but I'm still the best golfer on the team. Yeah, in high school it's a totally different thing, I guess, being a football player and a golfer, but it's just I haven't got to play much this year, but just totally different mindset, I guess.
So are you better than Coach Took?
Yeah.
All right, going to be fun the rest of the season, and I know everybody always excited when you're able to join us, especially here in Titletown, where you won a state championship. How often do you think back about that great run that you guys had? And, I mean, you weren't even pushed at any game the entire season. I mean, you just steamrolled everybody. That is hard to do.
Yeah, it's awesome, just being close to home. And Gino always asked me all the time about Jackson football and when I played there, and I was like, yeah, I think we'd beat anyone you can think of when I played here. So it's just nice to even see my buddies back in being close to home, talking about football and stuff like that. But it's awesome being a Red Hawk right now.
Awesome stuff. 2 o'clock on Saturday. Tennessee Tech is in town. Bryce, thanks so much for the time, and we'll see you Saturday.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Bryce Norman. Geno Hess, the all-time touchdown leader in SEMO history, going to join us after this timeout. We'll step aside. It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show from Wings Etc. in Jackson on SEMO ESPN. In Jackson, the Red Hawks are going to take on Tennessee Technological University on Saturday at 2 o'clock at Houck Field, and then they'll be into their bye week before they head to Northwestern State. Geno Hess will join us right now, and congratulations on breaking the touchdown record. I was asking you, had you ever met Walter Smallwood prior to the little post-game ceremony? And you said no. What was that like to have the guy 54 years ago at 75 years old there to kind of pass the torch, the game ball over to you and congratulate you on breaking his long-standing record?
I just call it perfect timing because I didn't go into the game saying I'm going to break the record, I'm going to do this. I just went into the game saying do my job, be a good team captain, just get the win at the end of the day.
Boy, and you knew that Lindenwood had been a little susceptible to the running game. UT Martin had some success. Now, their other two opponents did not run the ball well against them, but UT Martin did. Nationally ranked team. You guys are nationally ranked. You're a big reason why. And so you go into that game, and I'm sure you knew you were going to see the football a lot against this particular team.
Going into the week, watching some film, seeing the different run plays on them, and knowing that we could have success, and that the first couple games prior to this, we're trying to execute the run game, and finally we got a chance to do it on Saturday.
So not only did you run for 276 yards, you carried the ball 24 times. With a workload like that, what are you feeling like Sunday morning after taking all of that physical pounding in a game like you did Saturday?
Body a little sore, so just got the rest, but especially from the game and definitely the celebrating after the game. So it all goes hand in hand with each other.
So in the Central Arkansas game, I wanted to ask you about that. Some of those runs that you had, you just refused to go down. And when you are on your feet for long enough, it gives the offensive lineman a chance to get behind you and give you a little push. How sore were you after that game? Because that was a physical – it seemed like that was a more physical game than Lindenwood was.
Yeah, it's all about the opponent. Every team's different, and knowing that I went into that game, and another big point was execute the run game and, like, not letting the first person tackle you or the first two and be able to keep your feet running and finish with your helmet on the other side, on their side.
You know, vision for a running back is so big. Some guys have better vision than others. You clearly have excellent vision. What's it like when you are running a play and it's designed to go here and you see that's not an option and you have to make the change because visually you see, okay, that's not going to work?
It's just going with the flow of the game and knowing that your pre-snap reads and your different options are before the game, and it doesn't just happen right away. And you just let everything play out.
Take us through that 84-yard run, because it wasn't, as we talked about with Coach Tuke, it wasn't one of those runs where you got by the initial wave of linemen and it was just a foot race and you outran everybody. That wasn't that run. You had to make several cuts during that run. Tell us about that run.
It's been a long time since I had a long run like that. Last year I had one. I think before that was another one. But it was just letting everything develop and letting everything go out and trusting my my craft that I work on and practice with Coach Bird and whatnot. And then showing everybody that I am fast, probably the fastest on the team.
Well, you outran their secondary. There's no question about that. They were not going to catch you from behind. I remember back when Emmitt Smith was playing for the Cowboys, the all-time leading rusher in the history of football, people would talk about, Emmitt Smith is a really good running back, but he doesn't have that breakaway speed. And I used to think, I don't ever remember seeing replays of anybody chasing down Emmitt Smith. Nobody was catching Emmitt Smith from behind. That's kind of similar to some of your runs.
Yeah, definitely. And I know if I would have got caught, Coach Tuke would have had more fat jokes for me at the end of the day. So being able to just finish that run and then celebrating with my teammate and my guys, it was just a great feeling.
All right, so you guys are off to a 1-0 start in conference play. You got Tennessee Tech coming up. What I thought was interesting is SEMO finished the game with 684 yards of offense, which is second all time. 692 is the record, and that was in 2018 at Tennessee Tech, which was your first college football game. So you've got a little history against Tennessee Tech.
Yeah, that is my first college game, and it just shows like life is full circle. So hopefully we can do the same thing we did to him freshman year, put up, I believe, 70 points and with a win. But just a win at the end of the day is the best feeling.
Boy, I would love to see your Peoria State Championship team take on Bryce Norman's Jackson State Championship football team. I wonder if Bryce Norman could track you down.
It would be a good game in the first quarter, I'll say.
All right. Well, again, congratulations. Don't believe any of the sugar-coated lies, and don't eat any of the rat poison. SEMO is your biggest opponent.
Of course, just knowing that what we did and what the 2022 team is accomplishing so far is special. But the mission is just getting started, and the road only can get rocky from here.
Can't wait for Saturday when Tennessee Tech is in town. Weather is supposed to be great. How about 68 degrees? How's that sound?
To tell you the truth, everything feels the same to me out there. It hasn't got too cold or too hot yet, but
Even the Nichols game, wasn't it like 89 or 90 degrees?
well, it felt hotter during the week of practice, so I guess I'm used to it. But just we have been blessed with great weather so far, so I'm thankful for that.
Be a nice football day on Saturday, and we'll see you at Houck. Thanks so much for your time, Gino.
Thanks for having me.
Gino Hess, one of the Red Hawk captains. We'll take one final timeout. When we come back, one final word here about Tennessee Tech with Coach Tom Matukowicz. It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show from Wings Etc. on SEMO ESPN. Looks like they've got their food, and it's in a to-go bag, and they are ready to feast on some delicious Wings Etc. food. Coach Tuke rejoins us here. Now, you were telling me something about an epic tire fight. What's all that about?
One of our signature concepts in our program, sign off, is just about your effort. And so one-on-one drills is easy to give max effort really quick. And so we do a tire fight, a tug of war with an old tire. And I put these two guys together, and it was an epic match. Now
you choose who you want to see tire fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one thing I've learned is I'm never, ever going to bet against Norman, because I make fun of Norman being so small, and I'll put up a big guy against him and all that, and he's undefeated. But basically, the conditioning wore out on Gino. That was back when, in fact, I just paid Gino's bill. So I don't know if he's pregnant and he's eating for two or what, but his conditioning wasn't what it should have been early on, and Bryce ended up getting him wore down.
The tire fight. Now, when was the first time that you were exposed to that, or did you invent it?
No, I think everywhere I've ever been. I think Toledo, we did it quite a bit, but it's just trying to get somebody tired quick, and then now who are you? I mean, everybody can try hard when you're fresh, but when you're tired and you can't even take another step, who are you? And that's what we try to do. And I picked those two because I wanted our young players, because I knew they would both sign off, and to see what a true competitor looks like. And I know our young players appreciated that match.
All right, Tennessee Tech is in town. Jeremiah Oatsvall, their quarterback, he's a really good quarterback, and they have really excelled on offense. This is a good offense you're going to face, and like you said, you're down 3 linebackers for Saturday.
Yeah, I got a challenge, and a good challenge the defense to step up and not make excuses and play well. But, you know, it's a great game, man. We're coming at home, quality opponent, have a tremendous amount of respect for their coach, and, you know, he out-coached me last year. Like, that's a fact. And so I got to make sure I'm doing my job as the head coach and get this team ready to play.
All right, 2 o'clock. And, boy, you know, I was talking about the weather. At least the last time I looked, it said 68 degrees. I think it's supposed to get down to like 34 on Saturday night. And it won't be that cold, you know, at the end of this game because it's a 2 o'clock game. But, man, the weather looks like it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be gorgeous, and what a great day finish this first half of the season.
What kind of feedback are you getting from people now? I mean, you're ranked, you've got a winning streak going, and I know you get a lot of feedback from fans, from fellow coaches in the coaching fraternity. What kind of feedback are you getting as far as this year's team goes?
Oh, everybody texts you when you win. Crickets on my phone after a loss, right? But everybody's been great. I had a kid commit to me an hour ago. Recruiting is where it really matters, right? And so a lot of people are taking notice of this football team, and we're just a fun team to watch, man. I hope people appreciate our offense and what's out there, because that is a really, really uncommon unit.
I've seen a lot of SEMO football teams that were not exciting to watch. This is a really exciting team.
Yeah.
I can vouch for that. This is a really fun team. It's got to be fun to coach this team.
Oh, absolutely. The funnest part is they're not fighting it. Like, hey, this is what it takes for us to play well. And they try to get it done. And I'm pretty hard on them, practice hard, all those type of things. But really, they don't fight it. Whatever it takes to be good, they're willing to do. And so, we obviously got to stay healthy, and we got to stay away from, stupid things, but just love the mindset of this football team right now.
And it'll be on display at 2 o'clock on Saturday when the Golden Eagles come to town. Coach, again, thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you Saturday.
Sounds good.
All right, that is Coach Tom Matukowicz. Thanks to Geno Hess, the touchdown leader all-time at Southeast Missouri State, and to Bryce Norman back in his hometown of Jackson. Will be in the Cape location next week. Kickoff is at 2. Hope to see you at Houck Stadium. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody. So long from the Coaches Show at Wings.